Hello and welcome to the show. Today we are going to talk about how important science is, and as always, Bod is mad and going to talk shit. Enjoy.
You heard it. The woman said, alright, science is actually about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow and finding a new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity. As you know, it's a really deep topic and philosophical debate. So I'm not actually planning to get too deep in that. But for the record, I need to give it a little detail. And that is, science is everywhere, and even a so little topic that we can only arguably talk not more than a couple minutes is actually spent hours and maybe years of work to get to that point. So imagine that science is that much complicated, and everything is actually uh, not closely, but sometimes it is, sometimes it doesn't. But even a smaller connection is so important that we take our time because it's so important that it affects our way of thinking, our daily lives, and it leads another discoveries based on this. So we try to do not lay even one brick in a wrong way because it leads to very chaotic situations. So science is important because it has help from the world that we live in today. Science is valued by society because of the application of scientific knowledge helps to satisfy many basic human needs to improve like living standards, finding cure for cancer, for example. Not like, do you want to die from the cancer? No one wants it. No one wants to die. Even no one wants to die. So like people sacrifice everything for a living, even they one of their limbs. And in these kind of situations, it's like science is like a god. So yeah, and the way of developing science is very hard. I am looking for look. I am responsible for only one way of science, and which is I am Farm D student. So and plus I'm really, how can I say, excited about this, and I wanted to talk about on this topic for a little while. So you know, as a human beings, we are um, actually involved. We are a big habitat for our little organisms living in our body. So actually, we are not alone. I want to give you a little knowledge about a couple bacteria that plays really highly a role in our body. Okay, are you ready? I want to talk about today bacterial pathogenesis and virulence, and we already passed the point to describe how important science is because it's a so long topic. I assume after 100 podcasts, you maybe grasped. It's my hope, by the way, couple percentage of how important science is. Sorry for I didn't mean to put it out like this, but anyway, the diseases may develop because of the pathogenic bacteria. Okay, to a bacterium, the human body is a collection of environmental niches, alright? Warmth, moisture, food, and necessary for growth. Like we have even couple bacteria living in our oral site. Gram-positive bacteria, usually Streptococcus uh, or Candida spp, or I think it's so fascinating. Respiratory site, ventilator, and lungs. And a couple examples for this: gram-negative bacteria, Pseudomonas spp, or gram-positive bacteria, Staphylococcus spp, fungi, and urinary sites with other characters, gram-negative bacteria, gram-positive, and some of these bacteria have their own transformations inside them, so they can like evolve to live in other side of our part of the our in our body. So some of these bacteria's relatives, I mean close relative, actually living in our mouth flora, and it's the same fucking bacteria because of the little tweak in the genes. They are living in our genital system, generally in women inside of a vagina. Anyway, I need to cut this podcast right here because of the unusual voices we're hearing right now. Sorry for the cutting now. Okay. Anyway, we just talked about little bacterias, and let's jump into how we develop drugs. All right. I just said I am PharmD student, not a professor or not yet a doctor, but I have really important ideas that I learned from our masters teachers. You know, lots of drugs have their own side effects because everything has its own side effects, even caffeine, everything. You name it. Milk, water, even water. If you drink too much water, you're going to suffer because of the electrolyte loss. So you're gonna vomit. We call water poisoning. Everything has its own ups and downs, but the key part is evaluating. If the benefit you get from the particular drug or particular food or anything else in the fucking planet is higher than the negative side. By the way, sometimes we change the people to people, but generally we have our fundamentals that we are actually like say to people that is more important to you than it is. It's like I think it's my assumption. Maybe the 90% of the things we are around us, we decide to do ourselves are already decided from because of the professionals based on their research. They are beneficial or not. So about a 10%, and these things are generally based on their mental health, and because there's this really thick way, not a thin way, really thick and significant way that our um, mental health affecting our physical health. So sometimes people try to like because of like sacrificing their lives, not important things. Maybe sometimes important to feel mentally better, to get themselves physically better. Let me support my claim with a really big and good example. Have you ever heard, generally in sport competitions, if you give your opponent like an overvalue, you always admire him or her, and you come to a point that you're going to come across like combat or play against them or her. So because of your thoughts in a subconscious, giving like an overvalue, you feel like you can't beat him, like he is the greatest or something, or you're portraying. You can't beat him. It's nature's block. Okay, you create yourself a fear. So, but you know, you can say, "Fuck, man, I don't care. He or she's a human being like me too. I come to the point as same as him. So, what's the fucking difference? The fucking difference is heart. Who's going to have bigger heart? or big balls. Now the time is came to the point to take risks. Who was the more ballsy? Takes bigger risks, sacrifice. Alright, let's sum up this thing. Mental health, physical health, and it's why science is important and how our mental health affects our physical health, and competition and affirmations. At the end, the thing always we wanted to can and will probably be in our hands. And the only matter of fact is how much you're willing to sacrifice. Yeah, not like values. Sometimes physically, people working a lot of times. So or you need to be fast. Even seconds can count. People cut their hairs off, or they lose your hairs. I have an uncle who works really hard, 24/7. He is 40 years of age right now, and he starts to get a little bald, and probably it's genetics, but lots of stress, injuries, and lots of work and dealing with too much issues in a short amount of time makes your hair go like white. All right, like 40 years of age and lots of whites in his head, or male pattern baldness, because hair is kind of like a luxury. Look at the rich countries. They have long hairs. I have long hair too, and it's my first time growing my hair to my shoulder length, and it's really hard, man. The hard part is keeping clean. So look at the fighters, huh? Fighters have short hair except girls because they're girls or women anyway. They cut their hair too short. Not the beard. Beard is fine because they are doing everything else. So it comes to the point to correct little details. These are going to make a difference too. Let's say because small things do build up day by day. Do you want to hear a little example from my life? Today I had an exam on microbiology, and I thought I attend every class and I took notes. But the only thing I didn't do is studying after the classes. I took my notes. I read my notes after the class while I'm walking to my home. Yeah, I don't own. I actually own a car, but I'm not using it. I generally prefer to walk place to place. And because of the fucking thing I did. By the way, I attend every classes and I took notes. Today I fucked up in microbiology. As I just said, I'm studying in a medical school, like pharmacy, really significantly. So, could I do that better? Yeah. Why I didn't? I'm just fucking, I don't know, stupid something. I don't want to call myself stupid because I'm not, but sometimes I act like one. I could study every day, but I didn't. But I did play games. Too much? No. Oh, tops. But I I could stop playing games and study only 1 hour a day. 1 hour makes a lot too much difference. Let's say like I spent 3 weeks because we have 3 weeks to study for the exam. 21 days, 21 hours straight fucking shit. You know what? Yeah, these are small things. Experience after experience. This is not my first time, but I don't know. Anyway, it's not a bad thing though. Okay, thank you for listening to me today. I really appreciated it. This is a small talk that I want to give to you. how science is important, mental health, physical health, and a little anecdote from my life. And okay, I want to give you a little one more thing because sometimes this is the basic knowledge. I'm thinking this is going to help you. If you're researching for something about like your symptoms, and maybe you are sick of something, and you see epidemiology, and I want to give you a definition of epidemiology. It's come out of nowhere, but since nowadays I'm seeing this name or noun like hundreds of times and every day, so I want to cover this up. It's a dictionary definition, by the way. The branch of medicine which deals with the incidence, distribution, and possible control of diseases and other factors relating to health. Study of analysis of distribution patterns, determinants of health, disease conditions in defined populations. You see, I'm just hitting like a variety of topics in one podcast. I don't know. My mind is not racing right now because I'm sick, but I don't know, man. Anyway, have a nice day and stay tuned for another episode. Peace.